We're going to start just for a few minutes seated. So if you can just come to seated, make yourselves nice and comfy and just bring yourself into the space. We've got quite an active practice this morning, but as always, we'll start with just a few moments of settling and grounding. So just bringing your attention to the length of your spine now, and see if you can create space between the tail and the crown. And gently let the eyes close or lower your gaze. And let's see how things are this morning within. So just taking a moment to notice what sensations are present. Sorry, can I ask you to mute yourselves if you haven't done? That was my phone just going off, so I'm going to do the same.
Oh.
So with our eyes softly closed, just scanning the body to see if we encounter any areas of tension or tightness, and seeing if you can just breathe a little ease into any tight spots. Letting the shoulders be heavy and drop away from the ears. Let the palms gently rest wherever they are. If they're in your lap, let your fingers softly curl in towards the palms. And let's take a really big inhale now through the nose. And let it out with a sigh. I'm going to do that twice more, just trying to release any tension on the exhale. Last time. And just letting the attention settle with the breath in the belly space at the moment. So just observing the rise and the fall of the belly. Now moving the awareness to the ribs. Observing the movement into the side body. And then shifting the awareness to the collarbones. Imagine that you're raising, the collarbones are raising up with every inhale as we feel the top of the chest area. So following the three-part breath now, belly, ribs, upper chest, and then following the exhale from chest, ribs, belly. So just before we start the physical asana practice this morning, maybe you want to bring to mind a sankalpa or an intention for your practice. Doesn't matter if you don't want to or if nothing comes to mind, but maybe while you're on the oasis of your yoga mat, you want to just acknowledge this little time for yourself and imagine how you wish to feel in the here and now. It might just be that enough is appropriate, or I want to feel relaxed or happy or content or present. Whatever, if any of those words come up, just sit with them for a couple of breaths. And let the eyes softly open. And before we come into our standing postures, just going to do the eye exercises. So looking straight ahead. If you've got, don't do this if you're wearing contact lenses. Sorry, I forgot to mention that last week. It's a real no-no. But if you've got glasses on, you might just want to take them off for a moment. And looking directly ahead and moving nothing but your eyeballs. Take your gaze as far up as it will go. So looking up into your eyebrows, if you can imagine. Noticing if anywhere else in your body is suddenly tensed up while you're doing this movement. And then bring them back to center, looking directly ahead. And now let's take the gaze all the way down. Imagining we're trying to look onto our cheeks. Releasing the fingertips if they're gripping. Back to center again. Just close the eyes for a second. And then open. And now take the gaze all the way to the right. Take your eyeballs as far right as they will go. And center. And then as far left as they will go. And center. Close the eyes gently once more. Open. Look forward to the center. Now we're going to just do a circle clockwise with the eyes nice and slowly. So take the gaze all the way up and slowly work your way around clockwise. And when you get back up to the top, close the eyes for a second. Open, looking straight ahead. Now let's take the gaze back up to the top and we're going to go anti-clockwise now. So we're just strengthening the optic nerve and all the little muscles that surround the eyes. When you get back up to center, closing the eyes softly, release any tension that you're suddenly aware of. Keeping your eyes closed, bring your palms together at heart center and start to rub your palms vigorously, creating a bit of heat between the hands here, up into the shoulders. And then gently cup the palms in front of the closed eyes so that you can feel the heat that you've generated just coming onto your face. Bring the fingertips into your hairline, thumbs round to the temples. And keeping the eyes shut, just give yourself a little massage with your fingertips. Maybe doing some circles with your thumbs on your temples. Any movement that feels nice there. And then slowly as we bring the fingertips down the face, maybe just giving your face a rub anywhere where you feel it might be nice. Into the neck, into the shoulders. And taking the chin all the way onto the chest. Let's just sit here for a moment with a lovely stretch in our necks. Gently open the eyes. And then come back to center. Super stuff. Right, we are going to carefully and mindfully come into Tadasana, or our standing mountain pose. So taking off any socks that you might have on. I'm going to take my top off because I know I'm going to get warm. Okay. So, standing with your feet quite close together, so closer together than we would normally have them for Tadasana. Normally I'd say have them about hip width apart. This time we want them, so you've possibly got a big toes gap between the feet at the front here. I'm bringing your attention to your posture now. Let's just take a moment to set ourselves up. So lift and spread the toes. Bring the body weight forward a little so your toes grip, and then bring the body weight back a little so you're coming into your heels. And then just find that neutral position. And rolling gently into the outer edges of your feet, and then the inner edges, and then come back to stillness. Now just scooping the pelvis slightly, tucking the tailbone under so that the hips are directly above the ankles. And then looping the shoulders round and back and down, and letting the palms very softly face forward so that shoulders are over hips here. And just tuck the chin very slightly so we have got lots of, our spine is a lovely long continuous line. And then just gently close your eyes here. Let's just take a moment to balance and ground ourselves and settle into our center, where we're going to be focusing a lot of our work today. So bring an awareness to your core. And just check in with the breath in. Breathing into the belly. And then opening the eyes. I've turned around so that I'm facing you. On an inhale, let's take the arms all the way up. When they're up, let's look at those thumbs, maybe joining the palms together, maybe not. If it's more comfortable for you to have your hands separated, but you want your palms to be facing each other, taking a look up towards the thumbs and just pushing the hips forward slightly. So we're starting to bring ourselves into a tiny back bend here, just taking a moment. And then on the next exhale, let's bring the hands down as we bring our face back to center. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. With every exhale now, start to think about your navel coming in towards the spine. Inhaling up. You're going to hold it at the top here. So just checking in with the shoulders. Make sure you're not wearing them around your ears. Let them slide down, looking up at the thumbs here. And joining the palms together, you can't see the top of my screen, so I'll just show you. I want you to interlace the fingers, but point the fingertips up like so. So we're going to have those above our head here, looking up, inhale. And on the exhale, we're just going to take a lovely stretch over to the left. So keeping your hips in that plane that they're in. We don't want our bums to go out or our hips to come forward. We want to make sure that this bend is just from the side body. So we're hinging away from the right hips here. So taking it nice and easy. If you can, keep your elbows near your ears. If this is too strong for you, maybe just take the arms apart. So let's just hold for a moment here. Really feeling the intercostal muscles between the ribs on the right hand side. Inhaling, coming all the way up to center. And exhale down. So slow and measured, really thinking about the exhale, emptying out right from your center here. Let's go up again. And then over to the right hand side. So this is our first full body stretch of the morning. So just taking it nice and easy, being aware of what's going on in the shoulders, in the hips, in the lower back. Maybe readjusting your posture here. Tucking the pelvis, imagining that we're in a lovely straight plane here of movement. And then inhaling up. And exhaling all the way down, really sucking that navel in towards the spine as we exhale. And just close your eyes for a moment here. Let's inhale the arms up again. And this time, as we exhale, we're going to bring both arms down, but the left hand comes behind and the right hand comes in front. So the right hand holds the left hip, the left hand comes round to try and hold the right hip, but both hips are facing forward. So we're in a torso twist here. So only take it as far as is comfortable. We're leading with this left shoulder, so we're trying to pull the left shoulder behind us. And then the head and neck follow. So just noticing how you feel in this. Really make sure that your hips are squared round to the front. And then releasing the hands here, head and neck come back to center. Let's inhale the arms up. And then as we come down, we're swapping the arms over. So left hand comes to left hip, right hand comes behind to touch the left hip, square those hips off, and then peel that right shoulder back. And let's look over the right shoulder here. Maybe tucking the pelvis, noticing what's happening with the breath. So we're starting to warm up the muscles that are either side of the core here. And then head, neck come back to center. Slowly release, and let's take one more inhale up. Really reach way tall here, and with your right hand, hold on to your left wrist, and let's take a stretch over towards the right. So maybe you're bumping your hips towards the left now. Noticing how that feels, lots of space between the left hip and the armpit. And then up to center, swap wrists, and let's take it over towards the left. So really reaching away, try and straighten the arms if you can, keep the right elbow near your right ear. And slowly back up to the top and release, and let the arms come down. I'm going to turn around the other way now. You stay where you are facing the top of your mat. So we're fairly near the top of the mat here. So now you can widen your feet just a little bit to hip width apart. And finding your Tadasana once more, really just bringing your attention to your posture. Pelvis is tucked under, really thinking about what's happening in our core. Tucking the chin. Very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, we're going to start rolling down. So as soon as we get to the thoracic part of the spine, we're going to let the shoulders and arms be really heavy here. But I want you to bring your awareness into your core. Really think about what's happening here as we tune into those central muscles that help keep us stable. And as we go over and you start to feel your hamstrings engage, I want you to take a bend into your knees. So this isn't about the hamstrings. We can still stretch the hamstrings, but I want your awareness to be into your belly. So really hugging the navel in towards the spine. Shoulders and arms are very heavy here. And when we get to where we get to, just resting your torso or your boobs, or whatever part of you is reaching your legs. I just want you to bend into your knees and just let gravity assist here. So legs are bent, hips are high, so we get that stretch into the glutes here.
And just grab opposite elbows. Head is looking back between the knees. Really send those hips high, but bring an awareness to your core here. Taking a few breaths. And then taking the hands to the mat here, which should be quite easy because you've got your knees bent. And we're going to step back with the right leg. We're going to step back quite long. We're going to lower the knee. We're going to keep the foot tucked. And we're just going to come up onto the knee here. So really thinking about your core here. And although the knee is tracking, the left knee is tracking towards the left edge of the mat, I want you to have an awareness that you're trying to suck your inner thighs towards each other, and then really bring your awareness to your core. Let's take the arms up. Really thinking about the core here. And then on the next exhale, bringing your right elbow down over the left knee. So laying the torso back down onto the left thigh. Keeping the elbow in a nice, the elbow and shoulder in a nice straight line. Fingertips are facing the front of your mat. We're going to turn to look over the left shoulder. So really bring your awareness and your attention to your core here. Normally the focus is elsewhere, but I want you to think about hugging into the midline. As we breathe here. So we're also stretching out the right hip flexor. And then slowly bringing head and neck back to center. Both hands come down to frame that foot. We're going to raise up on the back leg, and we're going to take that left leg back into the first downward facing dog of the day. So with this one, I want you to keep your knees bent, keep them generously bent. So we're kind of in this nice crouching position, and I want you to have a little play with what's going on here. As you bend generously into your knees, hips are high, fingertips are stretched away, upper arms are strong, shoulders are really slid down here. Bring all your awareness into your core now and try and hug those ribs up and back. A bit of a strange thing to do, but I really want you to think about scooping out your belly here. As we send those hips high, you should feel the backs of your thighs engage, even though we've got our knees bent. But this is actually a lot stronger in the belly if you bring your awareness here. It's so easy to bust a move that looks like downward facing dog without it actually involving all the muscles that it really should. So keeping your awareness here, as you push that mat away and send the hips high, think about what's going on in those obliques in particular, the side ab muscles. Taking a moment here. And now slowly and carefully bringing the body weight forward. You might have to shuffle your feet back a little bit. We're just going to come into plank. So if this is very strong for you, just lower to your knees, but keep pushing away with the mat and really have your awareness in your belly. I want your belly sucked in. If you can hold plank, we're going to do that. And then we're going to push back into downward facing dog with knees bent. So bring the awareness back into the belly again. And then from here, we're going to take the right leg. In fact, move the left foot into the center of the mat. And let's take the right leg high. Not as high as it will go, but high. And you want your toes dialing round towards the left, because the minute you take your leg up, your hip will want to externally rotate, and we want both hips to be square here. And from here, with the leg high, bending into the left knee, we're going to bring the right one forward. So we're kind of like on starting blocks, ready to race here. Knee is between the elbows, and then we're going to take it high again. We're going to do that a few times as we come forward. Really bring your awareness to your core. Come forward, so we're up on the toes of the back foot and back again. Coming forward, holding it here and back up again. Last time, really thinking about your core as you bring that leg forward. We're going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the leg back, up and down, dropping to the knees, and take extended child's pose. Are you shouting at me yet, Linda? So just taking a moment, find your breath, ease out the wrists, tune in with the core, noticing what's waking up already. And then pushing back into the hands, tucking the toes. And however creatively you want to do this, I want you to get your feet up to the top of the mat. So maybe you can crisscross, taking your time, making a bit of a meal of it. So when we get our feet near our hands, bending the knees generously, resting your body on the thighs, send the hips high here, tuck the head in. Let's just feel the engagement in the back of the legs. Tucking the head right in there, we're going to slowly, 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 with all our awareness in our core. Arms and shoulders are heavy. And we're assisting those back chain muscles with our abs as we roll up to standing once more. Ooh. So once we get there, taking a breath, adjusting your big pants if you need to, or I always have to have my big pants on when I'm doing yoga. Just taking a moment here because, of course, we now need to do all of that on the other side. So, finding your Tadasana, tucking everything in, nice long lines. Chin is tucked, and let's start to make our way down. Really center your focus here. Think about what's going on. Shoulders are really heavy here, arms are heavy here, hands are heavy, chin is on the chest. As soon as we feel the pull of the hamstrings and the back of the leg, that's our cue to bend our knees. Bend them as generously as you need to get down to where we're going. When we're down there, let's just enjoy hanging out. Send the hips up high. Let the hands be really passive here. And then placing both the palms just beyond our little toes. We're going to take a really long step back with the left leg. And then we're going to rest the knee down. We're going to keep the toes tucked and we're going to come up onto the right knee. So let's just set ourselves up there first. Jolly good. See how we're doing. Just taking a moment perhaps to loop the shoulders round and back. Let's take a nice inhale and take the arms up. Have a little look at our thumbs here. Really bring an awareness to the inner thighs. Imagine that you're trying to hug the two inner thighs together. And then as we bring the palms together, let's bring the left elbow over the right knee. So we're bringing our body weight forward. We're using the elbow on the knee to hook around. And we're peeling the right elbow back. And we're taking a moment here to look over the right shoulder. So really thinking about the twist here, the muscles in the side of the torso. Really think about hugging that navel in towards the spine, scooping it up. Have a little squeeze of your glutes, see what a difference that makes. And then head and neck come back to center. We plant both the palms here And we're going to step the right foot back to join the left for downward facing dog. So thinking about all the shapes that we set up before, pushing away into the fingertips, bending generously into the knees. So we're in this kind of crouching tiger pose, hips are high, and then bring your awareness to your belly and sucking the tummy right in. So it comes up and under the ribs. And imagine that you're trying to send your chest back towards your thighs. Just taking a moment here. I'm going to have a quick look at you. Oh, some beautiful dogs. And some of you, I can only see your bums, but that's fine. So just taking a moment here, thinking about how it feels when we're in this inversion with our front bodies being stretched, our hips are high. Now we're going to just bring the right foot towards the center of the mat. And then we're going to raise the left foot up. So you can take the right heel down to the mat if that feels comfortable. If you'd rather keep the knee slightly bent, that's up to you. With the left foot, dial the toes slightly over towards the right. That will ensure that we're squaring the hip. And then from here, we're going to bring the body weight forward as we bend the knee and bring it between both elbows. So we're looking down towards the top of our mat. Really hug the tummy in, and then let's take it back up. Each time we reset, make sure those toes are dialed round towards the right, and then let's bring it forwards again. So as we bring body weight forward, we're looking at the top of the mat. Knee is in between the elbows. Let's take it up again. Really hugging the tummy in. Bring it forward again. Bring it up. And then last time, we're going to bring it forward. And we're going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 extra for Linda, 1. And back into downward facing dog. And then come down to both knees and take child's pose. Just breathing with ease here. I'm sorry that I'm picking on you, Linda. It was Shona that asked for this workout, but I know you do like to shout at me on the telly, so. Thank you, Shona, for all the loveliness you've brought for us today. We'll be sure to thank you properly later. So pushing into the fingertips here, really tuning into the breath. And slowly coming back to the knees, tucking the toes, pushing the hips high. And this time we're going to walk the hands towards the feet. So keeping the knees generously bent, hands are coming back towards the back end of the mat. Let's just hang heavy for a moment. Hips are high, knees are bent. And slowly we're going to roll up. 1 vertebrae at a time with the attention and awareness in the belly. Until we reach the top. Super job. Right, from here, coming up to the top of your mat, I'm going to keep the right foot facing towards the top of the mat. I'm going to step back with the left foot, and we're going to have the back foot angled in at about 45 degrees. So you'll either be heel to heel in alignment or heel to arch. It'll probably look something like that. But I want you to square your hips, so your hips are facing forward. So that might mean that you have to adjust where your feet sit. Up to you, but the important thing is that the hips are square. From here, we're just going to find our lift and length. Really suck the pelvis under. Bring your awareness to your core now. Bring the arms up to shoulder height. And just suck that right hip in. So it's kind of like we're doing a little, we're bumping the left hip out.
But as you do that, we're going to do this in stages. I want you then to tuck your pelvis under, because there's a tendency as soon as we suck that hip back that our bums have shot out behind us. We want to imagine that we're in this lovely, I keep using the word plane, you know what I mean, this plane of direction here. So we've sucked that right hip in. So both legs are straight. Consider the energy that's going into the outer edge of your back foot, and then the energy that's going forward into your toes at the front. And from here, we're just going to try and reach something that's slightly out of reach. So just bring your attention back to your core here. Your core is holding everything central, and it's stopping you coming forward like that. So it's holding you backwards. Reaching, reaching, reaching. And then from here, very slowly and mindfully, with your attention on your side body here, bring yourself into a lovely triangle pose. Now you might want to look at your monitor. It's a complete fallacy that you need to touch the floor. In fact, what we're after here is a beautiful line of energy between two palms. So you might want to check yourself out and make sure that your arms are straight. And then when you do, take the upper arm back a little bit, because we don't want to collapse forward into this triangle pose. We want to be really open in the front body here, and you will feel these muscles here at work, holding you stable. So once we're set up there, looking up at that upper turned palm, what else can you do? Try and tuck the pelvis under, feel all those muscles that are involved there, from the glute into the transverse abdominals, really reaching away with the fingertips here. And then slowly let's bring that arm down, bring the other one up, lower them both. Bring both feet parallel facing forwards here, just taking a moment, perhaps taking a few little movements forward and back. And then slowly find your lift and length here. Really tuck your tummy, your pelvis, and let's just roll down here for a forward fold in the wide-legged posture. So legs are straight for this one, just bump the hips from side to side, but have your awareness on your tummy muscles while we're here. Just letting the head hang. And then hands come to the hips, slowly using your tummy muscles. Let's uncurl until we get up to the top. Super. Right, now we're going to take triangle to the other side. So just pivot round on your left foot. Have your left foot facing towards the mat. Right foot is angled in at about 45 degrees. And then shuffle your feet about until you can get your hips square. Once you're here, we're going to bring the arms up to shoulder height. We're going to slurp that left hip in, and then we're going to readjust our posture so that we are nicely aligned here. Once we've got that set up, really thinking about what's going on in these side muscles here, you might be aware of being held here at the moment. We're going to reach for something that's just out of reach there. Reach, 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 reach. So this hip is starting to carry some tension, but the stretch is coming from the side body. And then we're going to take a little tilt here. So hand comes to the inside of the left leg. Other hand is upstretched. Once you're there in a nice straight line, let's turn to look at that palm, but at the same time, squeezing the pelvis under. And you will feel all that good stuff going on in the side abdominal wall here. So you should feel it very strongly here, the sides of your six pack. So just connecting with the breath while we're here, noticing the opening of the front body and the pectoral muscles on the right hand side. And then slowly let's prepare to come out of the pose, so head and neck come central. Let's bring the arms back up. Turning the toes in to face each other, taking whatever movement feels nice here. Maybe you want to take a little back bend and then a forward, back, and then forward, back. And this time let's just roll down, maybe keeping a micro bend in your knees here as we go all the way down. Really think about your abs here, sucking the abs in, up and under the rib cage. I'm hoping and assuming that none of you have had a full English yet. Well, that might be making a reappearance soon. So just taking a moment here, take your attention into the sides of your outer edge of your feet. And tucking the head and chin in, bringing a slight bend to the knees. Let's roll slowly all the way up, using those abs as we come all the way up. Now let's face the top of our mat and slowly come down to all fours here. And from all fours, placing the wrists underneath the shoulders, nice and firm in the upper arms here. Let's take our cow pose. So really dropping the belly and bring your awareness to these side muscles here as you're doing that. The more you can send your hips high, the more we will lengthen here through this front body. You'll be very aware of which muscles are being used. So just connect with your breath here. Hips are high, front body is long. And then let's just curl it in as a bit of a counter posture. So we're pushing the mat away, really doming through the shoulders, hooching the abs up and in, and bringing it back to a neutral tabletop. Right, from here, just setting yourself up, we're going to tuck our toes here. And we're going to, on the next inhale, we're going to hover the knees. So sending the hips high here, really clawing into the fingertips. Bring your attention back to those side muscles of the abs. Think about the inner thigh muscles working towards each other. And let's lower and release the toes. Just bring a little movement forward and back. Forward and back. And now tucking the toes again. Let's hover those knees. So just a few centimeters off the mat. Hips are high. Bring the attention into the side body. And this time we're going to lift one knee off the mat. And then we're going to place it down, back down to the knees, untuck the feet, push back towards child, then back towards cobra. Back towards child, tuck the toes, lift and hover. This time we're going to lift off the left foot. So really bring an awareness to the abs that are holding you firm here. Foot comes down, so the quads are working hard as well. And then knees come back down to the mat. Back towards child's pose. Then towards cobra. And back to neutral. From here, we're going to set ourselves up for balancing cat. So right hand, we're looking down all the time at our thumbs. Right hand comes out in front as though we're going to shake somebody's hand. And then we're going to extend away with the left leg. So really lead away with the left heel. So we're balancing, our core is holding us strong here. And then take that left foot down and cross it over the right. Stretch away here, stretch away, stretch, stretch, stretch. Lift that back foot, bring it back over, and slowly bring everything back in. Let's go to the right now. So left hand stretches away, right heel stretches away. Stretch, stretch, stretch in either direction. Bring your awareness to your abs. Let's cross that right foot over.
Let's bring it back again. Everything comes back into center. Take a little sway from side to side. Maybe you want to take the weight out of your wrists for a minute. We're nearly done with the hovering cats. And then back to hands and knees. And this time, bringing our weight and awareness onto our right knee, we're going to bring our left knee in towards our nose. And then we're going to send it away long, in towards the nose. Send it away long, in towards the nose. Send it away long. This time, bend into the knee, and from here, we're just going to flex into the foot and take it up, down, up, down. So little pulses. So we're working into the glutes here, but the front body muscles are working to assist this. You'll probably be aware of that. Bring an awareness and engagement. One more up. Bringing the knee all the way in, but not setting it down. This time we're going to bring it out to the side. And in, out to the side. And in. So shins stay parallel with the mat, out to the side. And in. One more time, out to the side. In. And let's take a break. In child's pose, really reach those fingers away. Head comes down, rest here, take the weight out of your wrists. In fact, while we're here, just come onto your elbows, bring your hands together in prayer, bring them over your head. Really push those elbows forwards. Let's get a little stretch into the triceps and the shoulders. And then slowly release, coming back to all fours. Taking the weight and awareness into the left leg now. Let's engage the core muscles. So tucking the tummy in. Let's bring the right knee in towards the nose and stretch it away. Into the nose and stretch it away. Nice and slowly. We really want to be aware of the muscles that are doing the work. So we're still pushing away actively from the ground. And out. Now that we've got the leg away long, let's bend into that knee and take a few pulses up and down. So it doesn't have to be incredibly high, your leg, to do this, but I do want you to try and square off your hips and have that awareness in your belly where the abs are sucked up and in. And then bringing the knee in, but not setting it down. And then let's take it out to the side and in. Out to the side and in. So we're working the sides of the hips here as well as the transverse abdominal muscles. One more time. Set it down and let's push all the way back into child's pose again. Take a break on your wrists. And now coming forward onto your forearms, let's take one leg away long and then the other leg away long so that we are in a forearm plank. And I just want you to roll forward and back on your toes. So we're sending the heels forward and back and then just come down onto your knees. And let's do that again, back into forearm plank, roll forwards and back. I know you're all thanking me and Shona in particular, so bringing your awareness into your abs and lower onto your knees. Take puppy pose here, hips are high, head is down. Last time for forearm plank, into one straight leg, then the other, roll forwards into the toes, and then back, forwards and back, forwards and back. And one last one, especially for Linda, so she can shout at me, forward and release. Well done. Lower yourselves down onto your tummies now. Make a little pillow out of your stacked hands and just take a moment here, rolling from hip to hip. Sorry about the doggy doorbell. Just rolling from hip to hip. Now bringing both hands down by the sides of your bodies with the backs of your hands on the mat. Chin is on the mat. Backs of the feet are on the mat. Hip points are on the mat. And from here, looking directly down, so putting your forehead onto the mat, we're just going to take a little counter posture here. Pushing into the feet. We're going to just raise our shoulders off the mat, squeeze them together. So we're doing a little back bend here. We're stretching through the ab muscles once more and then release. Really let the shoulders be heavy here. Let the legs roll out. And then once more, bring the attention into the legs. Really push down with the pubic bone, the hips, as we raise our upper bodies off the mat. Squeeze the shoulders together. Stretch away with the fingertips towards the heels and down. And last time, this time we're going to press the hips into the mat. And as we inhale and raise up, we're going to bring our feet up as well. So feet are together, shoulders are towards each other. So we are in locust pose. So really reach away with the fingertips. So it's just our bellies and abs that are on the mat at the moment. And release. Make a little pillow out of your hands. Take a little roll from side to side. Woo. And then slowly and carefully just raising yourself up. We're going to come now into some seated postures. Oh, you think at last it's getting easier. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. So, I mentioned at the beginning of this session that you might want to have a blanket handy, and I'll show you for why. It depends how bony your bum is and how well you are able to balance, because we are going to come to, it only needs to be folded once or twice. You need to be able to sit and you need to be able to separate the flesh on your bum so that you are on your sitting bones. You should be able to feel where they are. I'm just going to adjust my camera slightly because I want you to see me in my full glory. Okay. So we've got ourselves seated. We've got the flesh of our bum moved out of the way. And just bringing your hands behind your thighs here. I want you to sit as tall and as upright as you can. Hello, Percy. Percy's come to join us. Percy is post-surgery at the moment. He had his cruciate ligament done the other day, so he's very needy at the moment. So sitting nice and tall, just pulling ourselves up as tall as we possibly can. So imagine that lovely long line of energy. Your chin is tucked. We've got a nice long and straight cervical spine. So holding behind the thighs here, I just want you to, keeping the length in the spine, find the point at which you can balance. You can balance your feet off the mat and still pull yourself up nice and tall. So I don't want you to be down here. This is why we need to balance and why the blanket is helpful. Some of you might be red hot at this. I'm not very good at it. So I need the blanket, I need my hands, I need everything available to man. So just holding ourselves here, really pull in the ab muscles here. So suck them in and up. So sitting nice and tall. Let's straighten one leg. This brings to mind synchronized swimming. I don't know why. And then slowly lower. So let's do it with some panache. Point those tootsies away. Imagine your little nose clip on. So we point away here, really pulling those tummy muscles in. So you're pulling your tummy towards the thighs and release. Let's take a moment here. Setting yourselves up nice and tall. See if you can take both legs up. If you can't take them completely up,
don't worry, have them so that your knees are together and your shins are parallel. I've got some great shots here of people's feet. It's fantastic. Or everybody lower down for a second. If you have a strap and you want to try this version, you can pop the strap underneath your feet. You've got to set yourself up so your strap is quite short to start with. You need to find that your posture first. So you need to set yourself up where you're going to be with your posture. And slowly, 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 you start to straighten your legs as you draw your hands down the strap. You'll notice my back posture hasn't changed at all. It's just my legs that have straightened. And I'm using my biceps to assist my abs by getting my thighs nearer to my body, or rather my body nearer to my thighs. This is the shape we want to be in. We want to be in a V. We don't want to be down here like this. That isn't quite what it's all about. So we want to, you might find that the strap helps you. You might find that it doesn't. But if the best you can manage is your knees in towards the body, that's good enough. That's good enough. The legs being straight is less important. It's all about holding your abs and your thighs together. So really bring an awareness to your abs there, and then slowly coming down. Now the full pose is called Navasana, where if you've got good enough balance on your bum bones, you're in this shape and you're reaching forward. I cannot do this. I don't mind telling you. It doesn't matter how much I try, I can't do it. And I think it's because my pelvis tilts forward, but it could just be that I'm rubbish at it. Right, so moving your blanket out of the way if you used one, coming to sit nice and upright here. Sorry about all the dog interaction today. Off you go, Badger. This good boy. Go and find your, where's Teddy? Good boy. Sitting nice and tall. Bringing your fingertips out in front of you as though you're trying to reach beyond your toes. Let's really make the toes active here. And then one vertebrae at a time, bring your awareness to your belly. We're going to start slumping as we roll over our sitting bones. One vertebrae at a time, we're going to start rolling down. When you feel that bite point in your belly, stop, embrace, connect, and come back up. All the way up. So we're going to reach beyond our toes. You should feel a point at which you roll up and over your sitting bones. Let's take it back again. One vertebrae at a time. So we're starting to round into the back here. We're letting the belly muscles take control. When you feel that bite point, we're going to hover there. We're going to hold it. We're going to breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe. This is when you shout at me. And slowly, slowly, slowly start coming up again. So all those ab muscles that we've been warming up, reaching forward, finding our leg. Let's go down again. Rolling, rolling, rolling. This time we're going to go a little bit further than that bite point. We're going to really spike away with the heels. We're going to breathe, and then we're going to continue all the way down until we can gently lay down with control. Well done. That's quite a difficult one. And then slowly making your way back up, either by coming back up the way you went down, one vertebrae at a time, or gently bringing yourself up to seated. Let's just bring our feet in a little way. Feet are about hip width apart. We're going to balance on our sitting bones again, up to you whether you use the mat or not. Just want your feet to be off the mat. So the thing we're thinking about here is keeping our thighs close to our bellies, hands come together in prayer, and we're going to come to the left. And then we're going to come to the right. Try and squeeze the knees together. There will be a tendency where they want to part. Come to the left and come to the right. And this time we're going to hold the hands together here in prayer on the right hand side, squeezing thighs and belly together. And we're going to lift up and over. We're going to come to the left hand side, squeeze those knees, squeeze the hands together and release. Ooh.
bringing the knees in close to the body and just round yourself over your knees. Let your elbows hold you here. Really collapse into it. Just taking a moment here to find your breath. And then one last time, bringing the feet off the mat. Let's bring the hands together in prayer and come over to the left. Connect with the breath here. Really try and sit tall, close this gap between thighs and tummy, up through center and over to the right. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Up to center. Help the feet down. Let's take one leg away long, bringing yourself down onto the mat. We're going to work our way down to laying down here. So lowering yourself very carefully and mindfully until we're laying down. It's not quite blanket time, I'm afraid. And let's bend into the left leg here. Palms are upturned on the mat. And pointing away with the right toes here, let's raise the right leg up. All the way up to the top. Flex the foot as we take it down. We're going to take it down nice and slowly, really. Bring your awareness and your attention to what's happening in your belly. And when your leg is at the same angle as your bent leg on the other side, just check in with your spine and roll the pelvis in towards you. So we were going to do bridge pose here. That just flattens your spine on the mat. And that's where I want it to stay as you let the leg continue down on its journey. And then we're going to point and bring it back up again. So keeping that spine rounded into the mat, this ensures that we're using our abs. Flex into the foot and exhale it down. And then bend that knee, put the foot down. And let's go to the other side. So curl the pelvis. Let's straighten the left leg. Point the toes away. Point, point, point. Let's slowly lift the leg up. When we get up to right angles, flex and start to roll down. Make sure your pelvis is tilted so that the abs are doing the work. Slowly down. Point, let's change direction. So you'll be aware of the heaviness of the thigh here as we're doing this. And flex, round into the spine as we take the leg all the way down. And let it just rest there. So left leg is rested away long. This time we're going to raise, we're going to point into the right toes, raise the right leg up, curl the spine here, place the palms downwards on the mat, and slowly as we flex into that right foot, we're going to lower the right leg down. So let the tummy muscles assist here. Point the foot, bring it back up. So it's the abs that are doing the work. Flex, and let's take it down. And leave it there. Pointing into the left toes, curl into the spine here as we bring the leg up. Flex, and take it down. It's on the down movement in particular, we want to make sure that the spine is flattened into the mat. Point, bring it up, round into the spine. Let's slowly take the leg down. Then bending both knees, sliding the feet in towards the bottom. One knee over the chest and then the other. Right, really round into your pelvis here. Bring the hands to the knees, and what we're going to do, we're going to push the knees away with our hands, and we're going to resist with our knees. But before we do any of that, shins need to be parallel with the floor, and we need to curl our pelvis so that our entire spine is flattened on the mat. So when you're ready, push and resist. Push, 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 push. You'll feel this in your abs. Really push here and release. Take a moment, round the spine again. Let's go again. Push, 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 push. Flex into the feet. Push and resist, push and resist, push and resist. And release. Surprisingly simple and effective, this little exercise. Flex into the feet, round the pelvis, in towards the body, and push and release. Push, push, push. We're holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Well done. So hugging the knees in towards the chest, take a little roll from side to side, just to massage into the lower back here. And then take one foot down to the mat and then the other. So feet are about hip width apart, palms come down to the mat. Just setting ourselves up for bridge pose. So we're just going to take a couple of rounds of bridge. So just start by rolling the pelvis in towards the body and then rolling it away. So we're kind of rolling up and over the sitting bones. So we're working with the natural curve of the spine here, flattening and then hollowing. And now we're going to start to raise the hips off, coming into the shoulders over the next 3 moves before we get to our highest point. Every time you raise the hips up, make sure your knees are coming in towards each other, not away. And then raising yourself up, lifting your hips as high as you can, squeezing into the glutes, squeezing into the abs. The abs are still playing a really active part here. Walking the shoulder blades together here, maybe clasping the hands underneath your bum, really pushing away. So we're opening in the front body here, we're lengthening in the hip flexors, the front, the side abs, front abs. We're working deep into the core here, as well as our glutes. And release the hands and slowly let the shoulders soften onto the mat as we roll the spine down, 1 vertebrae at a time. And we come. Lovely job. So let's stretch the left leg away long here. Right knee is bent. Left hand comes to right knee. And let's just draw that right knee over the body. Keeping the shoulders on both sides down. So only bring your knee as far as that right shoulder will allow. Maybe you want to lift and turn the head towards the right. Just to finish off this lovely stretch in the side body, the twist in the spine. We've really given our middle sections a good wringing out today. Head and neck comes center, knee slowly comes back. To the center, place the foot down, slide it away. Let's bring the left one in, up and over, and take it over towards the right. So just noticing if this side is any easier or more difficult for you. And then maybe lifting and turning the head in the opposite direction. Just enjoying the twist here. I just brought us a peace offering. Thank you, Bash. Good boy. And then knee comes back to center. Hug both knees in here. Take that little rock and roll from side to side. And then let's take one leg away long. And then the other leg away long. And come to find your Shavasana. Now, you can put your socks on, put your jumper on, take whatever movement might be nice for you. And before we come to complete stillness, sorry, my dog is pestering me. Go away, Badger. We're going to take a full body stretch here, really reaching overhead with the hands. Feel the length in the front body. Really feel your abs stretching away here. Lots of space between ribs and hips. And we're going to creep the fingertips of both hands over towards the right hand corner of the mat. And we're going to bring the right heel to the right corner of the mat. And we're going to bring the left heel and cross it over the right ankle. So we're in this lovely banana stretch here, really stretching through the front body, stretching out all those abdominal muscles that we've worked. Left ankle is crossed over right. So all our extremities are over towards the right hand corner of the mat. Slowly let's uncross the legs and bring them back to the centre. Bring the arms back to centre. Let's take both hands over to the left side of the mat and our heads. Take the left heel to the left corner of the mat and cross the right heel over the top. And let's stretch over towards the left hand side. So torsos are in the middle of the mat. Legs are straight and stretched out. Right ankle is crossed over left ankle as the legs are stretched away. Really enjoy the feeling of space between all the ribs and the hips and the ribs. And then slowly bring everything back to central. Arms come back over the heads. And let your ankles roll out to the side as we take our Shavasana here. So really letting the shoulders be heavy and spread into the mat. Let your gaze soften. Let's bring our attention back within again, really bringing a sense of ease and heaviness to the body. Letting everything go. Let the fingertips gently curl in towards the palms. Let the brow soften. Let the jaws part. So unfurrow the brow. Release the eyelids. Let the face muscles be soft. Slacken the jaw, soften in the throat. Let the shoulders be heavy and draw down towards the mat. Working down the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms and the wrists, which have done quite a lot of work today as well. The hands and the fingers and the thumbs. And then the tops of the arms, front of the chest, the ribs, the belly, that lovely core that holds us, supports us, gives us stability when we're walking, sitting, when we're doing anything really. And the meters of intestines that sit within that soft belly space. All the work we've done today will help with digestion. The hips. Let the hips soften. The backs of the hips, the buttocks, soften and spread onto the mat. Backs of the thighs, the knees, the shins and calves, the heels, tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, and all 10 toes. So just resting in your awareness of your whole body, being supported by the earth beneath you. And see if you can bring a sense of awareness to your body being breathed. Now bringing a little attention into your fingers and toes. Bringing a little movement, perhaps deepening the breath.
Taking whatever movement feels nice, maybe circling into the wrists and ankles. Perhaps bringing one knee in and then the other and taking a little roll from side to side. When you're ready, coming to rest on your right hand side for a few breaths. So using your right arm to cradle your head. Taking a moment here. And then slowly making your way up to seated. Bringing yourself into a nice upright seated posture. Gently letting the eyes be closed still, bringing the palms to meet at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Taking our chins to our chests here, bowing our heads for a moment of acknowledgement of the time that we made to practice yoga today, to unite our minds, our bodies, and our breath. And hopefully through all the huffing, puffing, shouting at me, you found a moment to remember, realize, and acknowledge just how truly amazing your body is. Namaste. Linda, are you shouting at me?
I think, more huffing and puffing than shouting.
Okay.
It was